Welcome back to the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. I just finished up my project for my friend. It's been a long haul, several weeks of just working part-time and over the Christmas break, and so I wanted to bring you part 3 of the project, and that was dealing with the outbuilding or the baby barn. And so I'm going to give you a rundown of that. As far as costs and whatnot, it's pretty hard to give an exact cost based upon how people decide to actually build it. So I will show you what we have here. This is a 12 by 12. Okay, it's a nice sunny day here in Tennessee. This is the side of it. We've got the window right here is actually in the chicken coop. That's why there's a window there. And I'll come around and you'll notice that the roof structure, it has a nice little weather vane on it as well, but the roof structure is actually a Jenkins head roof. I'll show you that when I go to the inside. The Jenkins head actually is to match the main house. So we'll bring this down. Since I've did the chicken coop, we've done a little more work inside, leveled everything out, and you can see the homeowner wanted me to put a sign over the door there, College Street. So that's the little entrance for the chickens. Like I said, we'll come around. All I used on this is ranch wall. Now, there were some concerns with the ranch wall. We had a couple places where it delaminated, so I've got to talk to Lowe's about that. And we'll come around and get another picture here. Just give me a second. This is the side facing the main house and the main road. We put two, those are roughly 32 by 36 inch windows, give or take, you know, roughly is what we're looking at. And again, all of the molding, all the trim and everything, that's all 1 3/4 pine boards that the homeowner painted. And now we'll see, this is the front. The two main doors, this is a 6-foot opening. All they wanted to be able to do is bring in a riding lawnmower. We poured a pad here to drive up on. We left it down about 3/4 of an inch. And as you can see, the homeowner has spread gravel all the way around it. So again, I'll step inside. I know it's going to get a little dark and hopefully the camera will adjust. But kind of give you an understanding of what we did here. I put all the stuff up here for the homeowners, rakes and shovels and whatnot, and their cords. It's got a loft in it. We put about a 6-7 foot loft, so it's about 7 feet long, and put just some 7/16 plywood on it so they would have a place to store some stuff. Then over on this side, step back here, this is open, obviously clear to the ceiling, and then we had some extra material left over, so put in a little workbench for the homeowner and then a couple shelves just to store things on. Again, all of this, most of the shelving and stuff was stuff that was left over. You can see this here is just a couple pieces of ranch wall that I put together, glued down and sanded smooth so they could work. Now I'll step around here. In that corner, we put a couple corner shelves in. Again, just leftover material for storage. Come around. I put blocks every 2 feet in here, so these blocks are to help give the ranch wall a little bit more stability, because the ranch wall is only 3/8. Probably would have been fine, but I like to make sure that things are nice and tight. And then I'll just step back here. You can see again that this is going all the way up to the ceiling. The ceiling is probably about 12 feet high up into the peak. This is the way I framed the end wall. Now I know this is not load supporting, but because of the wide span, I actually put header in there just to give some stability to that doorway. And obviously we built on top of it. So I'll step out here. I will go over the Jenkins head here in a minute. Now this is going into the chicken coop area. Like I said, we built everything from scratch. This is a door built with some leftover ranch wall. Didn't cover the whole thing on the inside, just step back here. Just enough to give, the door some stability. There's the little entrance for the chickens. There's a couple of the roosts that we put in there. Those are about 18 inches off the ground and then about 16 inches apart so the chickens can roost, and that's the window. Finished everything off, so it'd be a lot easier to clean up when the chicken feathers and chicken dung and everything is flying around. And then this is the actual chicken coop. I'm going to try to come in here and get a picture of it, or let you see. It's a little tight. The chicken roost here is about 4.5 by 5.5 or 6 feet. So we put in just about 18 inches off the ground. We put in 8 boxes, as you can see. That's I just made that a 3/4 inch OSB board. I sanded everything smooth. All the edges and everything are smooth. This is routed. So the chickens, the feet and whatnot, they won't get injured in any way. I put a little roost here so they can fly up, land in here, and then step in into the bedding area. And so this is, like I said, eight beds. This is on a 45-degree angle. I was told by those who keep chickens that if you leave that flat, they'll be up there and they'll be using the bathroom and everything all over the front, and so that keeps them from doing that. Now up here we actually left it open for ventilation, and then I put in some 1/4 inch mesh all the way across there so the chickens wouldn't get up there and roost. Now if we find that they start trying to climb up in there and roost, we'll have to put some more mesh up in there, but for now everything is open for ventilation. Like I said, the inside of the door, we'll just close it here. This is so when the homeowner comes in and does her work, she can actually keep the chickens in, but it's a decent little work area, so the chickens should have lots of space. There's the inside of the 2 windows. The height of this particular room, or building I should say, is about 7'8". That's what the finished height is. I didn't go all the way to 8 foot just to kind of keep it a little shorter so it's not looking so tall from the outside perspective. I put all of the rafters in at 16-inch centers. That one there is not a 16-inch center because of the Jenkins head. And then I gusseted everything, leftover plywood that I had. Now I will quickly give you just a little tutorial on doing those Jenkins heads. This was an 8/12 pitch, and so what I did is we came in 2 feet, so that was, or we dropped it 2 feet, so that was coming in 2 feet as well this way. Come around here, come in 2 feet this way, and at 2 feet, sorry, we dropped 16 inches down. And so the easiest way to do that, the way I did, is I actually ran the rafter all the way up on the outside and then cut them off afterward. That way I could get the slopes, and I just dropped down from the peak, when I had the peak all the way up, dropped down 16 inches and then and framed it over. The trickiest part is actually getting the corner hips in. Those have to be based upon the outside point of your wall, and so if it's other than, you frame it basically like a regular hip roof, but in this case you just drop your end wall from the peak whatever your rise is and the number of feet you're coming in. So like I said, I was going 8/12, so I came in, dropped 16 inches, come in 2 feet. So if you were doing a 12/12, you'd have to drop 24 and then in 2 feet. So that's kind of the way that works. I think it turned out really nicely that way. And like I said, over to the main house, I'll just step over here so you can see that. The main house on the garage area, you can actually see that's got a Jenkins head on it, and so that's what I was trying to match. Of course, that particular house has a lot of different roof designs on it, but what I did is trying to match it over here. All of the trim work that I did here is actually made out of the leftover hardy board they had on the sides of that house, on the side of the main house. They're just using 4x12 sheets of hardy board, and there was a lot of leftover pieces, and so what I did is I just ripped them and I used them for face boards and eave work. Of course, it doesn't need to be vented or anything because it's all open on the inside. I also used it for soffit underneath, and so saved the homeowner some money that way. And I think it turns out really nicely, does a nice job. Now, like I said, I'll close this up. I haven't put the hooks on to support the doors because we're not exactly sure on what we're going to do for lighting here. If we put lights each side of the door, then those doors cannot open all the way. So I may suggest them putting the light up here instead, and that way we can open the doors all the way back, and we can put a hook there to hold them so the wind doesn't blow them. And so this is what the doors look like. Oops, step over here. We're just putting regular 4-inch bolts on them for holding. And when you're doing this, one of the easiest ways to do this is I made this door a little bit bigger and then allowed a 1/2 inch, so when this door closes against it, you can actually get an overlap and you don't get the air going in there or the weather. Again, I haven't got that pinned, but you can kind of get a feel for that. And like I said, so this is also made of that hardy board. To get you a picture, I just did a square. Like I said, not as far as design, they didn't want anything overly fancy there. So anyway, other than that, that is the 12x12 project that I've been doing. Like I said, all the fine detail is what took time. And especially the chicken coop there. You can see, just step back one more time. As far as the way these doors close, I'll give you a close-up of that. All I did is I took this barrel bolt, get this here, and that just goes up in there, and then I just attached the receiving end into this block. And then down at the bottom, what I did is I just put a little hole in the concrete, drilled a hole, and that way, if they want to come in and do any work in here, it's going to get dark, they can come in, just shut it that way, and at least they have the light in here with the 2 windows. So hopefully, like I said, you'll like this. And just one other thing, on the rafters or on the main floor joists, I put 2x8 in here. Probably 2x6 would have worked, but I did 2x8 because I prefer to have a little heavier space, especially if they put anything up in there. And it was prior to us as far as how big that chicken coop was going to be, but probably could have easily got away with 2x6 because it's of the short span here. But anyway, out here they've got roughly a 4-foot area that, like I said, goes all the way to the top. So it gives you a little, doesn't feel quite so closed in, and gives you more of an open feeling. So hopefully you like it, and hopefully you'll get a chance to, if you're ever building an outbuilding, this is probably one of the easier ways to do it. We just poured the pad, and I did an earlier video about that. So and we'll finish it off. Until next time. I'm going to start heading back now to the property. Got a little bit of work to do around there. My Saturday's pretty well shot, but I've got a little bit of work to do around the property. Get the tarp back up because of the snow. We had some snow here a couple weeks ago, and it knocked down parts of my tarp. So I got to fix that, do a little bit of work. But as of next week, Lord willing, I'm going to be back cutting trees and milling, and I'm going to start trying to do a few more detailed videos on how much wood I can actually get out of each tree. There's been some questions being asked, and so I'm going to try to follow that. And so until next time, this is Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. I pray that you have a blessed day.